In 1872, a perfectly seaworthy ship was found adrift in the Atlantic Ocean. Without having a trace of any crew, it was left abandoned with all her cargo and other things in good condition. This ill-fated ship, the Mary Celeste, and its case is one of the most enigmatic mysteries in maritime history. But after almost 150 years, the mysterious case of this ship has finally been solved. Welcome back to Nautical Depths, and today, we'll unravel the enigma of this ghost ship without a ghost. So stay tuned till the end, and let's find out what really happened. The story begins with Captain Benjamin S. Briggs. Born in Massachusetts, his family had a strong connection to the sea. After getting married, he decided to use his savings to buy a share of a ship. The ship was Mary Celeste, and this would be his first voyage as its captain. Before setting off, Captain Briggs made sure the ship was in great shape. He even had it refitted in New York, loaded with 1,701 barrels of denatured alcohol. They were planning to go to Italy. On November 7, 1872, the ship finally set sail from New York, with Captain Briggs, his wife, their daughter, and 8 crew members on board. At the start of their journey, they had some rough weather, but things seemed okay. The ship was supposed to reach the Azores Islands, but it took longer than expected. Now, here's where things get really strange. On December 4, 1872, David Morehouse, captain of another ship, the Di Gracia, saw the Mary Celeste in the distance. It was drifting away from the Azores Islands and moving rather strangely. After noticing this, Captain Morehouse got worried and sent his mates to check on it. When they got on board, they found something unbelievable. There was no sign of the captain, the crew, or the family anywhere on the ship, but everything was still in place. The ship had 6 months of food, water, alcohol, and clothes. Even the stuff of the crew was neatly stowed away. It looked like everyone just vanished without any sign of trouble. However, the ship's main lifeboat was missing along with the captain's navigational instruments. There was some water in the ship's hold and some tools were left on deck. The ship's logbook had the last entry from 9 days earlier. The cargo was also there, but 9 barrels of alcohol were leaked. Now, according to maritime law, if you find and save an abandoned ship, you can expect a big reward. The reward would be equal to the total value of both the ship and its cargo. That's why Captain Morehouse decided to divide his crew between the 2 ships and start to sail for Gibraltar. The journey to Gibraltar wasn't exactly speedy. Both ships had some slow going, and it took quite a bit of time. By December 12, 1872, both ships reached the port of Gibraltar. Because of the suspicious circumstances, a 3-month inquiry was made by the Vice Admiralty Court. Their first suspicion was Captain Morehouse and his crew. After 3 months of investigation, the crew of the Di Gracia was cleared of any wrongdoing and granted a salvage award. As to what happened to the Mary Celeste and its missing crew, no answers could be found. At this point, newspapers were rife with speculation. There were 3 main rumors regarding the fate of Mary Celeste and her crew. Some folks believe pirates had attacked the ship. However, when they dug deeper, it's pretty convincing that pirates weren't the culprits. There were no signs of any fight. The barrels of alcohol were still there and valuable stuff was left in the cabins. Now, if we think about it, if pirates grabbed the ship, they would have wanted to take the valuable stuff and cargo, but nothing was missing. So, as much as pirates make for exciting stories, the evidence just doesn't add up here. The second popular rumor was that a mutiny occurred on board. But again, the lack of any sign of a struggle seems to rule this out. Apart from that, the reputations of the captain and the crew were solid. Therefore, it proved that there were no chances as well as evidence for mutiny. Now, back in the day, some folks thought maybe it was all about tricking the insurance companies. However, after looking at the facts and evidence, that just doesn't add up. When we look at Captain Briggs, he was a good guy, respected by his peers for being honest. It's hard to believe he'd do something shady like this. Plus, right before the Mary Celeste set sail, Captain Briggs wrote a letter to his mom. In that letter, he was all hopeful and excited about the journey. He couldn't wait to see his family and younger son when he got back in the spring. That doesn't sound like someone planning a trick insurance scam, now does it? Well, aside from these popular theories, many people believe there was a supernatural phenomenon behind this tragedy. Some people thought it was the vengeful spirit of an American slave who returned to exact his revenge. Now, some suggest it might be the work of Kraken or some other sea monster. Magazines and newspapers were publishing different stories about this case. The popularity of Mary Celeste reached its peak when the famous author Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wrote a short story about it. But after all these years, scientists now have reached a plausible theory about this enigmatic case. So, what was most likely to happen? After extensive research on this case, we have a possible scenario that could give us some answers. It might explain the mystery of the Mary Celeste in simpler terms. One idea is that the ship's crew faced a dangerous situation caused by leaking alcohol barrels. So, according to the scientists, the 9 empty alcohol barrels on the ship might have leaked, spilling denatured alcohol. This could have created a dangerous situation, like a fire or an explosion. The idea is that the captain and crew saw this danger and decided to leave the ship in a lifeboat. They wanted to keep a safe distance to see if it would explode or not. Now, what makes this theory more believable is that these 9 barrels were made of red oak. This wood is more likely to let out alcohol vapors because it's porous. These vapors could have collected in the ship's hold. Even a tiny spark, like from barrels rubbing together, might have set off a big explosion. It's true that the ship itself wasn't destroyed, but the crew might have been scared of the risk, so they left. In this possible scenario, Captain Briggs checked the cargo and found the dangerous fumes. He thought the ship might explode, so he told everyone to get into the lifeboat. Towing it behind, the captain and crew tried to follow the Mary Celeste. Now, unfortunately, the tow line wasn't secured properly, and they got separated. Now, here's the only problem with that theory. When the Di Gracia crew checked the barrels at port, they didn't mention any strange smells or fumes. What happened to the alcohol from those 9 barrels? Well, that's another mystery. So, we may never know for sure what really happened to Mary Celeste's crew. It's a puzzle with lots of possible answers, but one thing is clear: the lifeboat and the crew were never found. That's why this is one of the most enigmatic cases in maritime history. Some mysteries may never be solved, but the joy is in the journey of discovery. So, what do you think happened? Share your thoughts in the comments below. In the meantime, subscribe to the Nautical Depths for more mysteries just like this.